Und wir sind live. Oh, I said this in German again. And we're live. Thanks for joining Creative of a Kind. This is Kevin and my humble self. Thanks for tuning in. I love it. Sorry for the German. Kevin, how are you?
Let's go, Marcus. We're back after a brief pause, I think 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
But back with energy and insights. I'm pumped to do this again, man.
Awesome. By the way, who's also back is Coffee Meow. First indeed. Yeah, and as you just said, we had 2 weeks off because it was a pretty tumultuous last 2 weeks here in Munich, especially due to the obviously famous Oktoberfest. And obviously, we also had a fun event, the SEO Oktoberfest and G50 Summit. And last week we had SMX Advanced, so it's going bam, 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 one after another, basically. It's great to be back in the office and finally work again. Also, at least for my part. I don't know how you feel.
No, I feel the same. I feel like I got the SEO Oktoberfest anticipation out of the system. I had my mass, enough beer. I feel good to be back. And Marcus, I have internet finally.
So, yeah, finally.
Finally, a decent connection.
I'm so sorry for what happened the last weeks. I mean, especially last week. It was the last week that we did this show. This was just pretty, whatever. Let's not talk about that anymore. Let's talk about the G50 Summit because we actually want to give a quick shout out, obviously, to our new and old SEO World Champion, Eric Wu. Woo! Congratulations, Eric Wu. Actually, the first time in almost 20 years that someone was able to defend his world championship title. Just an amazing feat. Last year he was the SEO world champion together with Cindy Krum. This year he took it home alone, and Cindy actually was on the third place. Got third place together with Hans Kronenberg, who did a spectacular presentation. I think it's one of the best presentations I've ever seen at the G50 Summit or at any conference. This was just wild. I mean, I've never seen anything like this. But nevertheless, Eric prevailed, and it was so close. Also, Eric won by 0.01 points, ahead of the second place, which was Jono Alderson, also a fantastic performance like always, and he was 0.03 just in front of Cindy and Hans with the same score. And then it was, I think, 0.2 again for fourth place, and this was you. So congratulations for fourth place, but it was so close. Also, it's inches.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. It's almost like, one slide can decide whether you place first or 10th almost. Yeah. But as always, I mean, the insights and the quality is unique, I think. I don't think there's another place or conference where you can get that density of insights and that transparency, right? Because it's a closed event, right? We don't share anything outside, really, and so
it's a safe space. It's a safe space for everybody to really share and be 100% focused on this topic that we all love. Yeah, that's what it's all about.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah, this was what I also appreciate. This is why we did it, right? I mean, this is why we did it almost 20 years ago. Seeing all the big conferences, we thought if you really want to share insights, it needs to be a very small group. Over the years, this has become the group. And especially Eric. I mean, Eric, he was talking about building AI agents, obviously, which is a super hot topic right now. His approach was just off the charts. This is really, I've never seen anything like this before. I mean, obviously this is cutting edge technology, but I've never seen anything like that. And that was so cool, his talk. And then he said, oh, since you all like it, I mean, we can just code it together. And then we had a 2-hour coding workshop where everybody was basically sitting in the room and coded what Eric did, basically what he presented in his presentation. And it was just just for me, I mean, you know the origin story of the SEO Oktoberfest and how it all started, right? And for me, it is just so amazing on so first of all, that this event survived, first of all, but also what it really has become. And if you really, I really had to pinch myself, like after the event, because if you just spell it out, what happened, right? I mean, like after all these great presentations, you would have a partner at Andreessen Horowitz giving a 2-hour coding workshop, right? I mean, like, what the hell, right? I mean, it is so unfathomable for me, having seen this throughout the years, and I'm like always amazed every single year at the quality, at the love and everything. As this is just it's just phenomenal. As I say a lot of words, but I'm speechless.
I hear you. I feel the same way. Do you know if, like, I don't think Eric speaks at any other conference.
No.
So, like you have not just,
we have a couple of people who don't speak at conferences at all. Yeah.
Exactly.
Eric obviously being one of them. And Eric also, just like yourself, actually started as an attendee. He started as an attendee, won attendee of the year. Then he got a couple of second place finishes, and now twice in a row the world championship. What an incredible feature! Really, and also you. I mean, like last year you were attendee of the year. Were invited back as an expert this year, and now scored 4th place, which is also pretty amazing. And then we had Tom LeBaron, who was actually 3rd 2 years ago. Last year he was last, so he got demoted to being an attendee, and he crawled his way back, winning attendee of the year this year. So he will be an expert again next year. Holy, what the hell,
Yeah, it's crazy.
Just, everybody is just coming prepared, like really, like also Cindy, Jono, they really pour their heart and soul into this presentation, and really like, and this is what we see with these, like the margins are like so small in the top 10. It's just because everybody brings their A game, and it's just crazy. Dennis says the same. Dennis,
Dennis,
it was amazing. Dennis is playing a lot with Sora right now. I see a lot of videos, and I'm like, is that Dennis? Oh, it's Sora. Okay. Yeah, Sora, right? Or you can buy a message for your competitors in the Hawaii. Okay, no details, please. And by the way, Food Morning Hans, again, I said it, I just praised you for your presentation. I'm going to say one more time, this has been the best presentation I've ever seen at the G50 Summit. And I want to say, highest style score we ever had. This was like almost the perfect style score, the perfect presentation, so to speak. But nevertheless, Eric still outlasted them all. Again, very small margin. That's okay. We don't want to get too much into it, but with Jono, 2nd place finisher, he actually launched his tool. You can also access it. This is why I want to give it to you. Impolite House. I love this. This is just so Jono humor at its best. So you can basically do a lighthouse audit, but at a different spice levels, and it's like really, and when I run it, I like have Jono's voice in my head. Like, I'm feeling judged. I'm feeling like, it is so crazy, but I love this tool. So please make sure to check it out. It's really a great tool.
Smart.
Have you played around
so smart. Yeah. I want, like, sometimes I just use it for the snarkiness. I just want like a Jono bot to yell at me, or I can like create an email that I can forward to my clients in Jono voice. But it's brilliant. And like, if you look at, I think everybody knows Jono, but if you look at the work he does right now, wink, wink, like pretty impressive. So yeah, a tool to try out, even if it's just for the snarkiness.
Absolutely. And another, actually, a former world champion, Jess Scholz, she also had an amazing topic. And for me, this was also one of my top 5 presentations this year, because she exposed me, right? As I told it to her, she exposed me because she was doing exactly the things that I talk about but don't do, right? Because I also tell them about, you got to be ready for AI agents and blah blah blah, but I don't do it. And she didn't just do the talk, she actually walked the walk, and did also an amazing presentation where she was basically like throwing AI agents and like with the AI browsers, basically trying to do certain things on sites. And I mean, spoiler alert, shit breaks everywhere, left and right, right?
Yes.
And I love this. I love this because everybody's saying this, right? Everybody's saying the same things, but she was actually the first to really do it. And amazing presentation. And she just published that post So this is why I want to mention it here. If you really want to check it out. And she really, she changed me in the way that I'm like, really, if I'm having a customer right now, I'm doing that stuff, right? I'm also trying to find, can I somehow break it or something like this with the techniques she's using here. I really love it. Great presentation. Again, also from Jess Schultz, former world champion. Yes, but let's not talk about the G50 anymore. It's done for. I love it. It's gone. Oh, one more thing we got to talk about because I mean, like, we have one very special guest always at the G50 summit, obviously being Alex Schultz, and he brought his new book for everyone. Everybody got a nice
copy
acknowledgement.
Acknowledgement. Oh yeah, sure, yeah. Shout out,
yeah. And obviously we all had to do a picture, which was mandatory to post it on LinkedIn to promote his book because it has just been released. I think yesterday or the day before yesterday, and it's already the #1 marketing book in India. It's the #1 digital marketing book in UK. I don't know. It's just crazy. It's all around all over the place. Although it has just been released. Pre-orders have been crazy. Actually, my pre-order just arrived, which is awesome because I also want to do write a review on Amazon. So obviously, I bought it on Amazon. But this book is the freaking Bible. I told him that it's going to be Mao, the Bible, and then this book. Yeah, I mean, like obviously the most read books are all from Mao. Then the Bible, and then this book, and this is the new digital marketing Bible because there is no book like that. I get asked so many times, "Hey, what book do you recommend?" And you're like, "Books, really? Dead trees? I don't know what, right?" And then Alex came along and just wrote it. And I love this, and this comes with a lot of authority, also obviously written by Alex. This is not just me or you, just a random dude. No, this is Alex Schultz, right? And he basically teaches everything what made him who he is today at Meta. Because he's just doing fantastic marketing, fantastic digital marketing, and he spills it all in this book. Also, you really want to check it out. It's just a fantastic book. And by the way, I almost cried, and I got to read this real quick because I almost cried when I almost cried when I read, what he wrote for me. I'm not going to read that, but in the acknowledgements, and I want to read this real quick. So it's right here in the first paragraph, sort of in the acknowledgements. I want to thank Marcus Tandler through the SEO G50, where I met many of the brilliant leaders in this book.
Crazy. There you go.
I was like, it was a night, and I was like, I was crying. I was like, holy shit, did you just really write that? I mean, like, it's amazing. Obviously, it's amazing to hear that the SEO G50 is just as important to him as he is important for this group, right? But still, for me, it just warmed my heart, reading this, especially in a book which is going to become the Bible of digital marketing. So yeah, if you haven't checked it out yet, check it out, buy it. If you don't like it, send it to me. I give you back the money because it's awesome. You got to read it. Great book. By the way, Rüdiger is here. I don't know if Rüdiger has read the book yet, but you should also read it. Hi from the island. Hi to the island. All right, enough of the G50. Let's talk about AI mode because it actually just launched in Germany. I actually didn't think this would happen so soon, but there it is. I actually haven't seen it live yet. I don't know why. Maybe I'm not Googling too much, but it is now also launched in Germany, and now it's really taking over. So obviously we have to talk about it, and especially to you because you did an amazing AI mode user behavior study, which reveals a lot about the future of search, about what's to come. So can you elaborate a little bit on your study and the most important findings?
Thank you, man. Yeah. So this is another user behavior study. We already did one in May about AI overviews. And when I say we, I just want to highlight that I work on these studies with a partner. His name is Eric van Baskirk. He's done a lot of these in the past. I also work with Amanda, my editor. And so together we spent months, once again, and a lot of sweat and tears on basically tracking 37 people in their behavior on AI mode when solving 7 different tasks. So 37 people, each of them has to solve 7 different tasks across buying products, researching information, comparing products, right? Basically trying to capture all the different user intents that matter most. And we record them, we transcribe these recordings, we ask them to comment on what they do and their thoughts, etc. So we have an incredibly rich idea of like how people think about AI mode and what they see. And just for context, like, like 37 is actually quite a high number. When you look at the studies that are done by other research centers, like Niels and Norman, they use 10 participants, right? We have 37 here. So it's super robust.
And you got to say, you spend a lot of money on this, right? I mean, it sounds like, oh, just 37 people doing a little bit of qualitative research. No. You spend a lot of money on this. I mean, like, how much went into this?
So this one was 15,000. The AI mode study was 20,000, right? So it's you can maybe get a small car for this. And so I'm always shy to sell, but this is like thorough research work. I might publish this in like a more official research environment or forum, right? But like qualitative insights are crazy, and we built a whole RAG engine. So we built our proprietary system where we can basically upload the data and our annotations and everything else, and then query and retrieve insights basically with natural language, right? So we built our proprietary system on top of the data to really get to squeeze every inch of insights out of the study. And the stuff that we found, I think it's pretty material, and it's great timing, right? Like we didn't know that in advance, even though I got a call a day before the study launched from a publisher who knew it was coming. They couldn't tell me because there's a PR embargo, right? But I could put one and one together. But of course, like this study was not, we didn't expect that. And so some of the insights I think that are most important. Number one, people really engage with AI mode. They spend over a minute in this thing, and it's not just skimming. So AI overviews, people spend less than, they usually spend like 20 to 30 seconds, right? So they really use AI mode as like a fact sheet, an overview, quick answers, skim, and then move on. AI mode is different, right? AI mode, people really stay, they really read through the content. They're very, like, they read all the details, they look at the answers in depth. So this is different, right? And I just want to point out, right? I think the insights are pretty transferable to ChatGPT. So because user interfaces are so similar. So one, people really engage. Two, people engage mostly with text. Like sometimes you see shopping cards which are products. Sometimes you see local packs. Sometimes you see other kind of rich elements, and people mostly spend time with the text. So also interesting. And then third, and I think this is one of the most important ones, people don't click. People really, really don't click. The only reason that we have some clicks in our study is because we asked people or participants to put certain products in the shopping cart. So of course they have to click through, right? But if you take all of that out, the zero click share is basically 100%.
But you also gave task where you basically would have to go somewhere and do something. So how would they go about doing this without clicks?
Yeah, they will click. In this case, they will click. So that's why we don't, we report some clicks in the study, right? And how people make these clicks, but it's only because we asked them to actually to click, right? It's not because they wanted to click. And so I think it's, that kind of I think that really changes the game. So if Google rolls this out even more broadly, not just across different countries, but also, more front and center of the search experience, then we can basically say goodbye to clicks. That's essentially the takeaway. Because, and I don't want to jump too far ahead, but the last thing I'll say is, ChatGPT has just launched their shopping integration where you can buy right in ChatGPT. AI mode is going to do the same thing, right? Google is going to go after the same thing. And then when that's the case, then all the clicks are basically gone.
But it looks like Google is really pushing AI mode to the point that it might even replace like the normal first touch point, basically the normal search bar, which will be now just not like a normal organic search, but instead an AI mode. That's a big gamble, right?
That's what they're planning to do. Sundar Pichai said it explicitly, that they're bringing more of that stuff into search. Some interesting experiments surfaced, I think, at what was it, like a couple of days ago, where some people reported independently of each other that when they try to expand the AI overview, they're being pushed into AI mode. So click on the load more button, push them into AI mode. And so that's an experiment of Google seeing what happens if we bring AI mode more and more front and center. And so my personal take on this is that Google leadership wants to make AI mode the default search experience. They're seeing how fast ChatGPT grows. They're understanding the risk. They want to make it the default. The only reason that would not happen is if users don't like it, right? And right now, right, I'm seeing signals from my study that people really like it. Don't forget, like we explicitly selected participants who do not work in tech, who are not tech-affine, right? These are not techies or marketers or something like that. These are normal people, and a lot of times they're like, sometimes
they're not techies, they're normal people. Thank you very much. Thank you.
It's true, Marcus.
Cool. Story of my life.
We're all special. We're all special. Let's be real. But some of those participants said, I've never even seen AI mode or heard of AI mode. They had no idea what this is. So the fact that they engage so much and they find a lot of utility in the answers tells me that right now there is a good chance that Google will actually make this the default. But I also heard through channels that the goal right now is to make this the default in search in the next 2 to 3 years. Again, only if users like it. So we have some time. AI mode will change, right? It will look different and evolve and maybe connect more to other Google products and be more personalized and all these things. So it's a little too early to kind of say this is going to be the final version, but I think the data is pretty clear. When eventually the search experience will be AI driven, right? AI overviews, web guides, AI mode, like this, we're going in that direction. And clicks are not part of the program, right? It's the purpose is not anymore to send out clicks. And it's going to be a problem for certain industries. And in other industries, we need to rethink what's quality, what good is, right? And so it's becoming more of a game of influence rather than clicks.
But I mean, like, as Google is making money with clicks, right? I mean, like this is still, I think, 99% of their business, isn't it? Like, and really everything, all data points to the conclusion it's going to be a lot less clicks, right? Yep. So how do you think Google is going to compensate for this?
They're basically going to do what ChatGPT is doing right now, right? They're going to bring transactions into AI mode. And then
but this is not gonna, I mean, like, they're making so much money, right? And I mean, like, I see what ChatGPT is doing, but I mean, like, ChatGPT is also not super profitable company, right? Like, they're still burning cash. Like, I don't know. This is crazy. I mean, like, all the money we've raised in 12 years, it's like, this is like a minute for them, right? and do you think shopping integration and all this is really going to compensate for all the clicks that might be lost, especially in transactional queries where people, in a lot of instances, and I might say 50%, go directly to Amazon?
Yeah, I think there's a good chance. I think there's a chance that they can compensate for it because AI mode can give you a much more personalized and contextual and better answer than search ever can, right? The reality is that Google still depends on on quality search results, which is very, very difficult in many cases. And actually, in our study, we had this case where people were trying to buy like a bag, like a duffel bag. And I have some videos in the write-up that you're showing right now where you can see that people go to a store and then they can't find the buy button, right? They're confused about like, where is the product? Yeah, there's an example, right? Like, there's all sorts of problems still with sending people to websites and closing the sale, which is basically what Google needs to do to get advertisers and to get good organic search results. And by facilitating that whole journey themselves and basically just attaching to the checkout of the merchant or whoever, right, they can provide a much, much better experience. Now, I think there's tremendous downsides for the ecosystem, right? Don't get me wrong. But I think that I think we underestimate how much better the buyer journey is in LLMs compared to like regular web search.
Although we just talked about, you know, what Jess did. Also, I mean, like a lot of sites are not prepared for this yet, and this is what we're seeing, right? People that just can't buy the product, and the LLM just has the same problem. The agent will have the same problem, that you just can't buy the product. I mean, like obviously this is something where people catch on, and the big ones do it first. Stuff like this is all going to happen, but nevertheless, also
it's going to make a big difference. Sure. You have to, it's going to reshuffle the cards a bit, right? It's going to open spaces that new entrants can get into if they know how to optimize for it. But yeah, look, like I totally agree with you, right? The web is not ready. That's why you have these integrations with Shopify, for example, and ChatGPT, because ChatGPT can directly access the store built on Shopify, understand, you know, like how it's set up and how to navigate it and stuff, right? And so, you know, it's going to be very interesting with Amazon, though. You make a good point, because ChatGPT is not going to get access to Amazon. Amazon blocked all the other bots, right? They're going to build their own agents, shopping agents, and so it's going to be an interesting war between ChatGPT and all the non-Amazon shopping platforms, and then Amazon as a standalone shopping platform.
Very good point. By the way, Rüdiger is just saying here, what about Liz as trustworthy as anything is she says, saying traditional subs are not going away? We're actually going to talk about that interview later in the show. So yeah, don't lose that thought, Rüdiger. He's also saying, and I rather see a problem in the way the results are seen when it comes to exploration of new ideas, products, tools, etc. As everything is at the moment still using the traditional signals from the SERPs and the user signals on page, how will new players have a chance and Google be able to not just show the same shit just in new color?
Yeah, totally. It's a great question, Rüdiger. And to me, the key is the context that AI mode or ChatGPT have about the user, right? If you look at how they build products, the integrations, the chat history, and all that kind of stuff, these LLMs are forming a rich a profile that is richer than anything you've ever seen before, right? I think the only data and the only company that can actually rival that is Meta. Right, because Meta has such rich user behavior data, but I think that's going to be the key to make sure you get high quality results from stores that are a good match to you, and it's probably going to be a separate experience for when you want to explore and discover new products, because that's also important, right? Sometimes you just want to browse a feed like TikTok or so to see, you know.
Not me.
No, I also don't do it. But you know, you want to browse some app to discover new products, and I'm not yet sure what that experience is going to be like in LLMs. But if you look at ChatGPT, they just launched Pulse.
I got it. Okay, let's do it.
Okay.
Let's put it in. I had it a little bit further down the road, because we still have some great stuff here on AI mode. So let's keep that in mind. But this is what they did, and I love, you know, what Andrea, you just reposted this from Gennaro, from his co-founder at WordStream, and he coins it basically. This is the beginning of a new platform, the JetGPT OS, and it's really, if you think about, you know, what they did, you really see, holy shit, this is actually true. This is like an OS, so to speak, and just like the merchants or the brands just plug in, so to speak, and then you are in that experience natively within an app in JetGPT. Also this amazing idea. What do you make out of it?
You know, my first instinct was that there is a bigger play here. So to me, this is deeply connected to the fact that Google in January required JavaScript to load the search results or scrape the search results. And now they just made a change to the num equals 100 parameter, meaning they make the life. Yeah, exactly. We talked about it. They make life harder for scrapers and vendors of data. Of course, because ChatGPT is using Google data or started using Google data a while ago, and so it's getting harder for ChatGPT to use Google data. And so instead, they're more or less, I don't want to say bypass, but like enhance or enrich the web data that they're not getting right now with app data. And I think it's a brilliant move, right? If you think about, okay, cool, how else can we get useful, important data? We don't get it from websites because we don't have access to Google. And sure, we still have Bing, don't get me wrong. But let's go to apps and let's integrate with apps directly. This is also not the first time that ChatGPT tries to integrate with apps, but it seems like this is the biggest swing that they're taking. And so, Andreas, exactly right. ChatGPT wants to become an operating system that everybody else integrates with. And chat is going to be, for now, right, the future voice, but chat is going to be the basic interface. And so if the question is, or the story is, if you're not an app that integrates with ChatGPT, then you're basically not discoverable along the journey. And so the question that I am asking myself is, how, like, can that ever be a replacement for the web? Like, are apps maybe a good replacement or not? And there are use cases where it's not, like in news and all that kind of stuff, right? But there are even news apps. So I don't know. I think it's a bigger swing or change to the ecosystem than it looks at first glance. And I think,
by the way, Google did something similar. They tried something similar with Fuchsia, the OS they started. And there was this wild theory by Cindy Chrome, which I loved. I loved that theory because she was basically saying, as at that time, this couple of years back, she thought that basically the Play Store, so to speak, Google's Play Store could become a central point within this OS, so to speak. Also, as you just said, like a new web, which is basically consists of all the apps within the App Store, and basically like a completely new experience than an open web, and crawlers need to crawl and find and analyze information, blah blah blah. And this is basically like a whole new thing. And this is a couple of years back, and this reminded me so much of it, to the point that it's like, I think Google had the right idea, but was like maybe a little bit too early technologically, right? And now ChatGPT is just, we're just going to run with it. And yeah, this is wild. I totally see that this could actually be, and also that ChatGPT. So like this is my web, right? And basically, by the way, Hans is saying something very similar. AI search systems are evolving into walled gardens. AOL 3.0. Only in rare cases we will still need to visit the wild open web in the future. Yeah, the messy open web and stuff breaks, and no, but within this ecosystem, nothing breaks. It's everything perfect, so to speak. It's fast, performant. And also it feels like this moment, and now and when you see this, you can really feel like the existential pressure Google is on all of the sudden, because this is a real viable threat with ChatGPT, with this amazing first mover advantage, and that they can really sort of like change the web for the better, and people will be like, oh, I love this way more than the messy open web kind of thing. So genius move, really. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. By the way, Rüdiger says StudioVZ is still the TikTok for markets. First, I never used StudioVZ, and I'm still proud I've never used TikTok. I've not once, and not even on somebody else's phone. I've never used it, all, like, period. I love it.
Why not? Why not? I'm curious. I know why I don't use it, but why do you not use it?
Oh, dude, I'm so against this. I mean, like, it's illegal in China because China found out that this product is more damaging, especially to youth, than heroin. Right? They did a study, and they found out this is thing. And this is what they did. And then they said, "Oh God, we're just going to export it, and we're going to do Douyin basically." And this is a completely different experience, right? If you go to Douyin, open it up, and a kid will get stuff like physics experiments you can do at home, learning a craft, learning an instrument, learning a language, right? And for TikTok, you open it up. Again, I haven't done it, but this is what I hear. It's like, oh yeah, please eat wash powder or whatever, right? I don't care, hold the breath for 2 minutes. I know what, right? And this is, and I mean, it's an amazing play what China is doing there. I mean, again, you have to see like what's really happening. I mean, okay, this is totally off topic, but 20 years ago, people, we had a attention span of I think 20 seconds, and now it's 8 seconds, right? Also the attention span, in the last 20 years has become, and TikTok obviously being a part of it, especially being the driver of something like with the reels, like the Facebooks and everybody, doing the same stuff. And they're basically all this short form video. And I'm saying a lot what Cindy Krum actually was saying at G50, although I didn't hear it, but I looked obviously at the presentation. And this is it. I mean, like this is really damaging to a whole generation of kids, of youth. And I just don't want to be a part of this. This is it. Also,
yeah. It's interesting. Like I very much share your view absolutely, right? I actually just deleted Instagram from my phone because
I do it once a week because I got a like from Riot and stuff. I go there once a week, but even that, also I don't even have like the thing to scroll or any. I don't even have that urge, right? It's like for me, it is so dull. Yeah, I don't know. I don't get social media, so to speak. It's just not my thing. Yeah, but sorry.
Yeah. Good. The good thing is you don't need to get it; it will get you. That's at least how I feel, right? So anyway, there's an interesting bridge here to AI because ChatGPT just launched Sora, a new social network that immediately jumped to the top of the charts, and interestingly, it grew faster than ChatGPT. So theoretically, Sora is now the fastest growing product to 1 million users. And so I have an Android right now, to my shame. Okay, so I haven't been able to try it out yet. But I think, there's like some risk to using AI too much, similarly to how there is a risk to using social media on your brain, right? Because I catch myself just using AI summaries of long content and not reading it anymore. And so I think there's something to be said about that as well. But I didn't want to detract too much. I know we have a lot of content to go through. So, but I think it's an interesting segue.
Although what you just said about this, I mean, this is super interesting because this is something I like Alex Schultz told me like a couple of years ago, and I was blown away by this because I didn't think of this. This is exactly, I mean, this is the most genius move because for all these like platforms like TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and everything, basically when people scroll, they look for the next thing that excites them, right? As what they're interested in, and some people have really niche interests, right? And then you're always dependent on having content creators that actually serve that niche. So I mean, like it works in a lot of topics because, like in the big topics, there's like an endless amount of content, being produced, and you couldn't even watch it all. But especially with more niche stuff, and also in other languages and other geographical locations, whatever, right? There might be a shortage of special stuff that you actually want to consume, and this is why you're scrolling, and this is where this all makes sense. That all of a sudden, when I don't need creators anymore, I can just create, whatever I want on the fly. I can basically give you what you want and then iterate. Like what do you? Oh, in this, you like dogs? You like small dogs? Oh, and they need to be brown, and they need to have like one paw like in black and whatever, like really intense. And they find this out because they see the watch time, how you engage with something, and they see, okay, he engaged with this more, what was more interesting to them. They can do A/B tests to really find out, like, and like really pinpoint exactly what you really want, and then give you only that, right? And your only opponent is sleep or death. Because you're just getting exactly what you want, what you're searching for the whole time. And this is genius. It is genius. I mean, it is absolutely horrible, and that's why I'm not using that, right? But this is genius on their part, because this is basically like, give me all your attention, all day. This is Matrix style battery. You are nothing more than a battery. You're only consuming content, and other people somehow make money with this. Sorry, I got carried away a little bit with this, but I feel so strongly about this, because this is for a whole generation. And also seeing me as a kid, I would have fallen for this 100%, right? And I see this with my kids, how horrible this is, the whole discussion, from A to Z, right? Don't want to get into this. You're in for a wild ride, by the way, so wait a couple of years. But this is exactly what I see right now. I would have done the same, and I can totally see that kids just have no chance. They have no chance against these systems, because they're designed, and again, there's a study, it's worse than heroin. That's it, right? And this is exactly what's happening, and I totally loathe this. It's horrible. Okay, let's stop talking about this. Let's talk more about AI mode, because there was also some great research coming out of the iPull Rank offices in New York. Garrett Sussman, fantastic guy, wrote a great write-up here, and they also did a lot of great stuff, stats on how AI mode is basically changing the game. Which is, I think, also this chart here, right? Nobody's really searching for AI mode, right? As a ChatGPT, it's always so amazing, the first mover advantage, how crazy this is, right? And yeah, here. So percentage of searches resulting in a click to an external site, right? Google search about like 20% of the time, and just like you said, right, 2.3, which is very optimistic. It's even more than you projected, right? But this is massive, right? This is massive. So definitely less clicks across the board. He also saw, who gets most of the clicks. Don't get to dive into this. I wanted to show you one more thing. Here, the prompt length. And I wanted to ask you if you've seen something similar. Because as we have talked about this before, that we basically saw, with stuff like AI mode, people were using basically like the normal queries they would also do in Google search, but now it basically triggers an AI mode. And with ChatGPT, people would prompt a lot differently, talk a lot differently, basically, and especially have a lot larger prompts. And did you also observe basically as a people using this more and more? Because you can see a slight uptick in here, and I think this is the exact uptick that also Google is looking for when launching AI mode. Do you also have like experience with in your study with AI mode, like closing the gap, although it's like quite huge, but closing the gap in a way?
So unfortunately not, because we prescribe the tasks that we wanted users to do, and that has a heavy bias on the length of the prompt. So we couldn't like in a statistically robust way say that we were able to detect longer prompts. But I've seen this in other data, and I see this in my observation or my experience as well. So I think this is absolutely true. Prompts are becoming longer, richer, which conveys more context, and at the same time means that there is a content gap. Because if you think about this, Marcus, for the last 2.5 decades, everybody was trained to create content for short-head keywords, right? Maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 terms. I would consider that short-head, right?
Yeah.
But now people are so precise in what they want with AI mode and ChatGPT and co. And so we don't, on the other side of the marketplaces, we don't have the content that addresses that specificity. And I think that is an opportunity actually for influencing the answers and becoming more visible. But I will say I'm not surprised to see this data, but I think it's great that Sussman and the team at AlpoRank are pulling this and sharing this.
Absolutely. Yeah. So again, great stats. Please check it out. Really is some amazing work by iPullRank. Thank you so much. Next up, also David Konitsky, great guest and also in our show here. Also had a great little tip here, because agentic mode in AI mode shows which queries are being used. If you're using DevTools, you can actually basically see the query fan out. And this is really quite interesting, because what he found out, so he saw that 21 queries were used basically for his research. And interestingly, they were split into two groups. Some are used immediately for the search, while others were added later in the follow-up phase. So interesting. So they were like first general queries, right? And then it really got deeper and deeper and deeper, did some more deep research, basically. And this is really super interesting to basically see it think and search basically this agent trying to make the best answer for you. And yeah, everybody can do it themselves. You just get to go to DevTools, and with every search you can also distill this, and you should. As a great work here by David, great find. Although it's already been 2 weeks, but with AI mode now being there or everywhere, I think it's a good tip for everyone to get a little bit more out of this. And then Google basically said, hey, we're going to double down on AI mode. Now you can now help you search and explore visually. They're really doubling down on the multimodal part. I think you said most people right now interact with text, and I think this is also like 20 years ago, we were all like shorthand keywords, but nobody was doing like long tail queries because you just wouldn't get a good result, right? And I think this is the same that people now have to learn, that you can also, hey, by the way, just shoot a photo, and and I mean, like, we've seen the examples, it's so intuitive, but I think a lot of people have not done this yet. It's not in our system yet to really do this. And so really Google tries to really entice people to use this more. And I think that's also a very smart approach, going into this modal thing, to maybe find like another approach that is a little bit different how people would do it with JetGDP, maybe as a sort of like a differentiation. But nevertheless, obviously, what they're doing could also be done by JetGDP if they wanted to. But they're basically now giving you the opportunity to question conversationally, and then you get a range of visual results, which is obviously pretty cool. And also obviously sharp. You can also shop conversationally. And it also shows this visual fan out in AI mode. And this is just spectacular. I love this, right? This is so great. And what did you make out of the announcement?
Yeah, I mean, look, you're absolutely right. I think text is just the first step. And, it's going to, like similar to how you had like operating systems in like the 80s and 90s, they were just purely text based, like Microsoft DOS, MS DOS, exactly. Right. And then you change to like a click based interface. It's probably, I don't even know what the term for that is. Anyway, I think we're going to see the same here, right? Like people are going to be using voice a lot more. Chat is always going to stay, right? I think there's something to about text, but the majority of people, they're just going to take out their phone and they're going to take a video. Like, have you tried live search?
No.
Okay, so it's a feature in the Google app where you basically take your camera and then you point it at something and then you ask questions.
Oh, I did this because we had like a Schädling, also an insect.
Like
an insect that's not good, an insect that does harm to nature. I don't know.
Gosh, what do you call it? A bug?
Insect bitch. I don't know. Whatever. And I pointed at it and said, "Tell me what it is." Right, and what can you do against it or stuff like this, and it worked amazingly well. I was really, holy shit, that's really worked well.
It works incredibly well. I have this like Ring camera from a previous tenant in the house that we're at, and I wanted to take it out and stuff, and then Google Gemini guided me through that beautifully. And so I think we're going to see more real-world interactions between search based on multimodal, or multimodality in maybe AI mode and Gemini. And so I wouldn't be surprised if, you use your phone more to look at products or explainers or something. It will be shared with AI mode, and then AI mode has that context about you. So when you're ready for, to buy a product, then it can show you the right products. But this makes a ton of sense to me. And the last thing I'll say is I expect a lot more YouTube answers in AI mode because of this, right? It makes perfect sense.
Absolutely. Yeah, this makes a lot of sense. Yeah, definitely. It's like distill short form videos to the people. This is exactly what they love, right?
Yeah. Get them hooked.
A big shout out to Olaf, because Olaf, again, now with Bill Slavsky, rest in peace, my friend. Like Olaf has really taken on the baton, I think that's the correct word, to scan through patents. And he actually found a very interesting patent, because the patent for visual search function in AI search, how this technology works. It sounds like it's from Google. This is actually from Microsoft. Also this patent is from Microsoft, but nevertheless, I mean, it's going to be very similar in a sense. And so great shout out to Olaf for finding this and posting this. And it basically shows you in the patent in this way. In this case here is, who is this person? I mean, seeing in the news. So basically also searching with an image, who is this person? You know, I don't know this. And how basically the search engine is trying to solve this problem. And so, yeah, very good find here by Olaf. And so if you're interested in it, definitely check it out. Again, not from Google, but probably very similar. And I can totally see probably Olaf finding the one from Google as well. But again, it's very insightful on how this actually works, how Google is actually managing to do this. All right, what do we have? Yeah, there's a survey, a Pew survey of 5,000 US dollars, and 76% of them, also 3/4, want AI content labeled. Yes, I would like that label too. But only 12% feel confident spotting it. Yeah, totally. I also had this, I was watching like a video, and like, and it felt a little bit off, and then it was like, oh my god, I was like really fooled. I thought this is a real video, and it was AI generated. Not from you, Dennis, if you're listening. Again, I'm so glad that it always says like Sora in there, because I was like, oh, is that Dennis? It's like, oh, it's Sora. Okay, I love it. But I would so be for labeling AI content. That would make so much sense to really label it. Everybody wants it. I still don't know that it's going to happen, but yeah, thanks for the effort.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, our good friend Joost had like a really good point a while ago when I still had a podcast. I brought him on and we talked about this. And his suggestion was that, you know, human content should be uniquely identified with blockchain. There actually is a way to do this, and then to use blockchain as a trust layer for human content. But I think it's a brilliant idea, and I think it's probably not going to happen because the ecosystem doesn't care enough about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Great idea. Yeah, definitely. And by the way, also consumers don't trust the first search result, and AI use surges. Also interesting survey, and this is a really interesting survey, because now people are like, they see, also here, just 11% of US consumers trust the first tool they use when searching online. That means nearly 9 in 10 Americans double check or expand their search elsewhere because they don't trust the first answer. What? I mean, like, this is crazy. This is a crazy survey, because you're really saying, you're searching for something, and I'm searching on ChatGPT, and I'm like, okay, let me also put it into Google. Let me put it into Bing. Let me put it into DuckDuckGo. And I'm just joking. And this is crazy. 9 of 10 Americans. And I didn't expect this at all. As I didn't expect. I mean, I would expect that people would be a little bit more, cautious about, like immediately believing a result they see. But 9 out of 10 Americans are really saying, I don't trust this. I'm going to use something else. Weird. What do you make of it?
It's, I'm seeing the same kind of.
Thank you, Goran. Thanks for joining.
Thanks, Goran. I'm seeing like a similar behavior in other spaces as well, like in the software buying space. People often get like a referral from somebody else, and then they go to AI to create a shortlist or put that together. So I'm not too surprised to see that people go to different platforms. And I think it speaks for the fact that you cannot just focus on one anymore, right? You have to be present on all of these. A lot of the tactics are the same, but even stuff like Reddit and YouTube, which are obviously very different platforms than Google and ChatGPT, even those platforms are used to validate whether an AI or search answer is correct. And I've seen that in my study very, very strongly, right? So this whole process of validation is something that as SEOs, we need to internalize and understand.
Great point. I said this as a focus topic. Rüdiger was shouting it out before the interview with Liz. Now it's like we only have 6 more minutes, so let's make it a little bit shorter. Because again, like Rüdiger already said, I mean, like it's not really like the big reveal here, right? I mean, this is like really spinning the PR story a little bit. some great quotes here. I do think the story of the blue link is far from over, right? I mean, they have to. I mean, it's clicks, right? So they still need clicks, and at least they got to like drive the narrative. Clicks are still very important for us. Still keep on clicking. Yeah, many people want to hear from other people. People want to comment with humans, and that human spirit sounds like, hey, we love Reddit. Well, that sounds a little bit like it. Web content, short form video will continue to flourish. Yeah, I think they're seeing short form video working really well. Yeah, here, by the way, we're also experimenting with inline links with AI overviews in AI mode, linking directly to that creator so you can hear more. Yeah, thank you. Please include more links, include more citations. But the thing, what she said, what is it? Yeah, but here, we don't view AI as replacing search. We view it as augmenting, as enabling us to reinvent search. And I think this is a good point here. This is also what SEMrush found out in their study, right? That it's not cannibalization, it's coexistence. It's really not replacing, but really augmenting search. There's just different use cases you would do with a traditional Google search, and with JetGDP, maybe for ideation, synthesis, and creation, more like JetGDP kind of queries, right? And with the normal stuff, you would still use organic search. And basically, this is what she's saying here. And this is like, we have this transfer period now, and this basically helps us, reinvent search completely new. So again, nothing super great in there. Or do you have something in that interview where you were like, oh, this is interesting?
So the inline links are interesting. I haven't published this yet, so this is exclusive. But in this study, in the AI mode study, we did actually observe a difference of clicks between the citation icons or the right side panel and inline clicks. And when there's an inline click, people are much more willing. Sorry, an inline link, people are much more willing to click. But apart from that, I mean, words or tokens are cheap these days, and so I want to see some action.
Tokens are cheap. I want to see action. Oh, I love it. Yeah, and so how do we get into these answers? Just a couple of articles here you want to check out. First, there's an official one from Microsoft Advertising, optimizing your content for inclusion in AI search answers. This is very basic, but nevertheless, it is about the basics. And this, I think, this highlights it once again, that it's really about the basics. You've got to do the basic right to have a chance to get included into these overviews. And again, I see a lot of just basic stuff here. Nevertheless, very good article from Microsoft. Thank you very much. What people are really doing right now is reactivating their PBNs. Yeah. Also, this is, I mean, like, it feels like 2000 all over again. Like, people are really reactivating their PBNs, but it's not about, like the normal buying links anymore. This is really about creating top 10x articles where you would always put like your brand in first and second and it works. It works, right? And especially with these occasionally even burned PBNs, JetGDP doesn't care, right? They still have a lot of problem with spam or like identifying domains as, as trustworthy, not trustworthy, right? They just don't have that extensive knowledge that Google has in regards to domains. And it works. It works like a charm, and people are doing this again. And I'm like, oh my God, it's the Wild West again. It's like really.
So, I had this crazy conversation with the client last week. So I cannot say the client and I cannot say the website, but how much do you think you have to pay per year to be listed as the top software in a certain category in an article on one of the leading publishers out there? And I have to mask a little bit to make sure I don't give it away. But like, how much do you think? Like, there's an article about the best blah 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 software. It ranks
like on ZDNet or
something like that.
Something like trusted domain kind of thing. Okay.
Yeah. How much do you think?
And they sell the top spot?
They sell all the spots.
They say they sell all the spots.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's all
like a editorial, like ethical thing. Oh no, they're selling all the spots.
I wish, man. I wish.
Okay.
Per
year, I would say, as this is definitely six figures. Yeah. This is definitely around maybe 50K a month, up to 100K a month, even.
Yeah, really good guess. It's
Really?
400,000 a year.
400,000 a
So
year. Oh,
400,000,
wow.
a year.
Wow.
But there's just this one article,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
one listing. I mean,
Yeah,
this
but it
is,
works. It
dude,
works. I mean,
it's crazy. It's crazy. Oh my
yeah, it
God.
works. Holy case! It's like link buying all over again. But now it's like they're not buying links; they're like buying bullshit. But wow, I mean, crazy.
Yeah.
And what else works like a charm? And there's a story. There's a study about this. Is faking the date to make it seem like this is more current, and ChatGPT is like, oh look, there's something new, and the thing that I'm searching for. And there was a study on like ChatGPT being very, very about like trying to have like newer articles, right? More recent articles. So they have a tendency to go after more recent articles, and this is exactly what this is exploiting. Basically, just faking the date and saying, "Oh, I just wrote this yesterday," and again, ChatGPT not having a large history, right? I mean, like this is really what Google has: their Doc ID, and within the Doc ID, everything is connected, over years and years. ChatGPT doesn't have that. And yeah, it works like a charm. And it's like, oh my God, like the simplest spam techniques from back in the days. Yeah, right. This is like we had the white font on white background thing to tell like the model to do something different, and now we have the PBNs again. We're having faking dates and stuff like this. Oh my God, we're saying about, oh, this is the future of search, it's all going to be better, and it's all better. No, this is just it's just like, yeah, the Wild West all over again.
It's embarrassing.
Oh man, good fight, good night. Yeah, I had this one from you, how AI really weighs your links, because we were just talking about links. It fits so perfectly well in here. I don't want to like let's got into this anymore, but what you found is I think it's very cool. Like authority matters, right? This is still very important. Authority matters. Quality over volume, like the same things we always said, basically. But nevertheless, this is super interesting. No follow links have the same impact as a regular link. Of course, Wikipedia, no follow link. Being in Wikipedia, very valuable, right? This is what it's all about. They don't care about follow, no follow. This is exactly what it's about. And also the last one, that image links work just as well, which is pretty crazy. But I mean, like, obviously conveys a lot of trust when you have all these logos on special sites. I mean, like, obviously this is going to work. But I love that you actually did a study on this and found this out. And so I love seeing, like, we have the same basically link building industry reinventing themselves, right? To now serve like the people like totally, okay, this is the new shit we got to do now. And it's basically the old shit all over again. Also it's like the alter Wein in neuen Schläuchen, old wine in new
hoses.
Okay, I don't know. It doesn't make more sense in English. Yeah, great stuff. And last but not least, I have this one here. IIS servers compromised by Chinese hackers for SEO manipulation. So what they did, they basically not just hack single domains, they hack all servers and basically infiltrate the whole server and hack all the domains on that server. And then what they're basically doing is like a elaborate form of cloaking, so to speak, where you would be like going to a different site if you're a user, and if you are obviously like a crawler, you would get a modified response by basically, oh, this is a perfect site. And then it's basically like a cloaking thing. I mean, like, cloaking used to be, my thing like 25 years ago, right? So I always like these stories, but nevertheless, this is like another level, because they're like, no, we are compromising servers. We're not just like doing this with with a couple of domains. No, we're just taking over servers and do this with a lot of domains, obviously going to gambling or whatever else, what they're doing with it. Interesting story. If you want to check it out, do it. And that's about it. And Christian Reber is also saying goodbye. I have to go. I need to activate a few expired domains now. Oh, dude. I actually have a lot of expired domains still too. I love this. Yeah. Have a nice weekend. You too. Have a nice weekend as well, Christian. We met him at SEO Oktoberfest this year. I also gave him a big shout out on Monday. Awesome dude.
Yes.
He was there.
Great guy.
Yeah, absolutely great guy. Yeah. 5:04, we did it. Woohoo! Thank you so much, Kevin. As a really interesting conversation. I learned a lot actually during today's talk.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, thank you for, I mean, like really for the study, like really pouring 15K into something like this, right? This is so valuable. You're sharing this with everyone, so everybody can profit from what you paid for, though. Thank you so much. This was really super insightful. Yeah, and world champion Eric Wu, yay. Yeah, we just hope to see you again next week, next Friday, right?
Yeah, next Friday.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, we are on next Friday at 4 p.m. So we're gonna do this every Friday again now. So no more 2-week breaks. So next Friday, please join us again if you liked it. If you didn't, join us still. Give us another chance. You know, we might do better next year. No, it won't get better. Yeah, it would be great to see you again next Friday. And now we would like to temporarily redirect you from work to the weekend. Have a great weekend, everybody. Happy optimizing and goodbye. Keep on waving.